We just need B-roll, yeah. Welcome to In the Corner with Zach. I am Zach Schallhammer, and today I am with...
Jaclyn Stominger.
And Jaclyn, you are... What exactly?
What exactly am I?
What is the title?
So my title is High Performance Strategy Coach or Strategist. And I am also the host of the Unstoppable Success podcast. I'm a host, not a hostess, but and I'm the co-founder of Missing Link Network, and I'm a co-author of the book Charting to North.
Well, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Lots to
chat. And your tagline for your coaching?
My tagline, well, it's
kicking people's asses or something?
Get shit done.
Get shit done.
Get shit done.
Get shit done.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
So what do you do as a coach? Because I also am a coach. So we were both coaches in different ways. There's so many different coaches.
Right. And I actually, no offense to the word coach, I actually hate the word coach because it is, at the end of the day, what I really do is I help people get out of their own way to be unstoppable in the success of their business. Yes. And part of that is to really help them define action plans either for, the week, the month, the year, and what they're going to be doing. And then I'm also helping them because leadership is a really big thing from what I truly believe in. And actually it's part of the book is really helping people be amazing leaders, not just for themselves, but for the people that are in their tribe.
Love that. And did you find, what's the biggest challenge for most folks?
I think one of the biggest challenges, if we're talking about the entrepreneur, that day to day, it's the juggle, right? It's wearing all the different hats. How do you scale? How do you get all the things done? And how do you be true to your own, true to your values? Both either whether you're working for yourself or if you're working for a company.
A little bit of that authenticity.
Yes, that authenticity.
Thrown in there.
Yes. Authentism.
Authentism.
It's a new word.
It's your word. I love that word.
Authentism, right. And what I actually, and I'm just thinking about some of the clients, like on the bigger scale, like the CEOs and the executives, when we're talking with them, it's really understanding that when you're a CEO or you're leading a team, you need to know who you are first and foremost before you can lead, but to be a really great leader, you have to be in tune with your own values and be able to align with the people that are on your team, because when you're not, you're doing a lot of this. Yeah. And a lot of this doesn't necessarily come from because you don't get along with the person. Right. It's just the way you see the world and your values and what is important to you is very different.
Yeah, definitely. And I noticed, I think you said before when we've talked, like you love teams. Yeah. Teams are your thing?
I do. I really love working with because the team culture is what drives the world in a way. So when if I could like wave my magic wand and you could like have all these great companies with great leaders and people that were working amazingly together, you think about how happy people would be, right? And like so many people would be like, oh my God, I hate my job, or I hate the boss, or the boss isn't saying, oh my God, I'm having so many issues with whatever, whatever that is. I mean, you're gonna have those, but then as the, like for me, I love working with the people say, okay, you know what, this is what's been happening. How do I navigate this so that they can be better?
Yeah, and work together better.
Yes.
I've come from a very rich background of dysfunctional teams.
Well, I think a lot of people have.
Yes.
A lot of people have.
That was like my first experience with that was more of a team level, and the executives just came in and were like, well, just fix this. Right. And I had to figure out like how to fix this. And so you read the 5 dysfunctions of a team, that one book that everyone has apparently.
Yeah.
And I read it. I'm like, this is us. But
Right.
what do I do about it? I don't know. Because some are just the toxic environment, or like the whole thing is just in shadows
Right.
from the top to the bottom.
And
So
right,
you need
and
to
like
kinda
then
fix
it's like
everything.
right. It's like and you can't fix it all at once. You have to take the things like you have to do them in pieces.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, like a lot of dysfunction, and you said negativity. That's a huge part of dysfunction.
Yeah.
It starts a lot of times. It starts there, and that negativity is a cancer that just keeps spreading and it breeds. And so you have to kick that in the butt as soon as possible.
Yes. Have you fixed really toxic atmospheres?
I have fixed toxic atmospheres. It's not easy. I mean, it takes a while.
And sometimes you've got to clean house a little bit.
Yes, you
for that.
do.
And you got to make some hard decisions too.
Well, and that's actually, I think, the hard. So, I've been working with a particular client that I'm actually just thinking about, where literally some of the things that is happening in the business is because there's not an alignment of values, and how somebody responds to somebody else. It might be that they respond in a negative way, and that negativity just runs through a company, and so you have to make that decision. They may be a great worker, but they might not be aligned right.
Yes.
And they might need an attitude adjustment, and you cannot. The biggest and the hardest thing is you cannot teach and values to somebody. You cannot teach somebody the values. You can help them change a bit, but the deep down, like they might be able to see it differently. But if that's not who they are, then maybe that's not the right. Then it might not be the right position. If somebody's like snarky and being a jerk, or just like, hey, you didn't give me that shit. You got 5 more times and whatever. Then you're going into the dungeon, kind of a thing. Then and they're client facing. Then maybe it's like, what, you shouldn't be client facing.
I like the place we're at now is more with hiring and even corporations. They're talking about values, core values, missions. I love that that's coming first, mostly in most situations. How can, as I'm just thinking out loud here, like when you're hiring somebody, because we talk about that a lot, but everybody needs a job. Everybody's coming in, they want the job. How do you really, is there a way to tell?
About values?
Kind of test, because of course the person's going to say, oh yeah, I love your core values and your mission statement and all the things. How do we know if they're genuine? Is there any way that we can see through that, or any questions to ask or litmus test there? Yeah.
So there are certain questions that you could ask, like you would have to think about certain scenarios that really matter. So let's say one that I like is will somebody think outside or do the right thing, right? And so I have my glass right here. So if let's say this is an open glass, and I say to you, you're walking into an interview, and I'm like, oh, great so glad you're here, Zach. Can I offer you a glass of water? And you say yes. So I give you the glass of water. Okay, we have the interview. Now the question is, what do you do when you leave?
I thank you and give. It's a glass.
The glass.
Okay.
Right.
I thank you and give you your glass back.
Well, or you say thank you very much.
For the water,
right. And that would be like.
Hope I passed the test. Am I hired? Yes.
Like what do? Do you leave it on the desk? If you leave it there, then I'm like, oh no, sorry, you are not part of this company.
Oh, that's good. That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a sip.
Yeah, I'm glad I gave the glass back.
Right. Yeah. But do you? So what do you do? Do you leave it there? Do you say, "Oh, thank you so much. It was great to meet you. Okay, what do you want me to do with the glass? Like, where's your kitchen? Here,
Can I take care of this?
Can I take care of this?
What? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Do you get up? like little
That's
peeves.
true,
Do you
yeah.
push the chair in?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
do you leave
That's
it like
true.
some people do, like, the cabinet's open, or like
Yeah.
the pet peeve if
The
you didn't.
cabinet's open. No.
It's like the worst.
Yes.
But
It
like,
is true. I've heard about like the entering and
Right.
exiting is like the best test
Right.
for that.
Right.
Like what are they doing in the lobby?
right,
And I always say, what are they saying to the secretary? That's my
Right.
favorite because they are the most important people.
yes, they are.
And if you just degraded and ignored the secretary for 40 minutes, then
Right. That's
Yeah,
not, are
that's
you
right.
chatting with them? So
Yeah.
there's also really, there are some really interesting questions that you can think about to ask people, things like, you're in an emergency and what would you do in certain situations?
yeah.
Like, so you have to think
Yeah.
about questions that will actually bring out the value that you would want to see in somebody else.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do
Right.
with the business.
Yeah. It's
You
true.
can teach
Yeah.
skills. I laugh because I'm one of those people that, you get on the phone with, a credit card company or whatever, and you're just like, I just want to speak to a human. I just want a human.
Just a
And you're like,
human.
hit the button. And what I have come, because I know myself, I'm so upset by the time I get to the person,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I actually acknowledge it. And I always say to the person,
Oh, that's
thank you so much for, and I would just want you to know how much I appreciate you, because I imagine that most people, when they actually get to you, are angry and pissed. Like, I'm letting you know that I'm angry, and like my tension is like, because I've hit the button 1,001 times to get to a person,
Yep.
but I just want to appreciate you.
I love that. It's a great idea.
Right. So, and when you do that, also, it also just it does bring your,
It does. Yes. Yeah.
and
And
you're
and it helps them too, who have been
helps whoever
dealing
they-
with stressful people
right.
all the time. Yeah.
right.
Absolutely. How did you become a coach?
Okay. So, how did I become a coach?
That's what everybody wants to know
Everyone
about,
wants to know this.
especially coaches. And I also, until this last year, I've not liked the word coach. So I agree with you.
Right. It's
I had to learn what that meant
Right.
for me, but until then, it was like. Yeah.
So I'm going to take you back in a little
Okay.
bit. So a couple
Take us
things
back,
happened.
yeah.
Okay. So my very, 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 very first position in my chosen career, which was magazine publishing, my very first day when I interviewed for the job. Now I was in college and I was sent out. I was old school. I sent out letters and cover letters and got interviews and went to New York and interviewed and got a position and. And I was super excited to work for this particular company. And I interview with the person who's the manager who was I was going to report to. And I looked up her career, where she had been doing, and she just was like, I was stoked.
Okay.
And I had gotten a couple other offers and I turned them down because here I am thinking I'm working with this person.
Oh.
Right? So you kind of know where this
Here
is
we
going, right?
go. Yes.
So fast forward, I graduated college, May. I had a couple of weeks. I get to New York City. I start my first job. I get to the office. Mind you, I'm 2 hours late because the bus I was taking was 2 hours late. And it was kind of funny, but whatever. We didn't have cell phones then. So I get in and I meet my boss, I thought the person who was coming out was my boss. Right. No, and I'm like, who are you? OMG. Okay, I have a saying I'm just going to share with you. My saying is, I'll be nice so if you'll be smarter.
Oh,
okay.
I like that.
I was not nice.
Write that down.
Yeah. Oh, it comes out a lot with, anyway.
Right.
So I literally meet this woman. People did not understand how I knew what to do in my job because I had to figure it out because she didn't know what she was doing.
No.
So thankfully, I am an intelligent human being, and I kind of figured it out. I threw myself into direct marketing and doing all these campaigns and direct mail packages. I was like, well, I don't know what the freaking hell I'm doing. I'm going to figure it out. And so that's a long-winded way of saying. So right from there, like I began like this search for the right leader. Like it was a huge search for as I changed companies, because back then it was like if you want to make more money, you gotta every 2 years you switch companies and whatever. Move up and right. So I always kept this. I was always searching for this great, amazing leader to have. Never really found it. So I knew that I had to find it within myself. Awesome. But there are things that they don't teach you in college, as no matter what college you go to, as great universities, right? Right. So fast forward, I have this great career in magazine publishing. I get married. We moved from New York to Boston. It was like the flavor of the month. I was like, I don't want to do it direct. I don't want to be in magazine publishing anymore. So I literally went from company to like position to position to position, like trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Like, where did I want to go? I'm now married. I'm in my 30s. Do I go back to college? Do I get my MBA? Blah, blah, blah. But I taught myself that I could walk into a company and I would know I would get the position. Because I knew how to present myself and I knew how to, and I knew what to say, right? So it kind of
strategy,
became a really great skill. So it was crazy. People would say to me like, "Oh, so what are you doing now? Like, what is it now?" Right? And I would always, when I would throw myself in like 100%. So fast forward again, I have my kids, and I literally was working at this one company, and I was VP of sales, and I went on this. I did a Ragnar relay, and I came back and said, I had this idea for a business, and I sat down at my desk, and I picked up the phone, and I called the CEO, who I basically reported to, and I said, I'm done. And then I called my husband, and he's like, how are we gonna? I'm like, we'll figure it out. Right? And I ended up getting involved in something I would never do, which was network marketing. But I found a product that my son has a nut allergy, and my husband has a fish allergy, and this was an allergen-free food product. So I went all in, and I was like, oh my God, this is like scary though, because I have to talk to humans. I didn't have to talk to companies. Not that companies aren't humans, but it's very different.
It's
right?
very structured,
But
and you get comfortable with that.
Yeah. But also businesses, it would be very easy for me to pick up the phone and call anybody at any company. But then I had to pick up somebody who was like, that could be a friend of mine. And I'm like, ooh.
People,
like, very different. It was kind of like, the Brady Bunch. I'm like, oh, I got to picture you all like naked or something like that, right? Like to talk to you. Like I had to like work out these crazy things in my brain, right? Insane. But so I actually had never worked with a coach, and I started working with a coach, and I went through a couple different coaches, and I literally worked with a coach for 7 years. And
same one? Or?
Same coach for most of it for 7 years. And there was and then she was part of a coaching practice, and the guy who she worked with, he and I started I was one of his clients for a bit. Anyway, I was working with a company. The company I was working with had folded, and I switched to a couple different companies. And we were literally talking one day, and I said, you know what? Like I want a seat at the table. Like I see all these things that are happening. I have all this experience, and I want to help people do what I did, which I moved across the country. I didn't know anybody here. I grew a humongo business. I went from having 0 sales to doing almost $1 million in sales with the company that I was with and my team. And you learn. And he just said to me, he goes, you should become a coach. And that was the part that I liked about my team. Like I loved working with my team, and I wasn't always working with them about their business. I was working with them about their life. I was working with them how to, one of my team members, she was part of a bigger company, and we were working on the company, of that company, not the company that we actually worked together. And that's where I found, like, I love being able to look at the business and help people in that part of, like, in business to grow personally and professionally. And so when he said, okay, and he goes, you can use all my material. I said, great.
Nice.
Right, fantastic.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, that's right. But I'm like, oh, I really need to have a certification. Like, there's no way that if I'm going to become a coach, I need some letters after my name.
Yeah.
So I went and got I looked at a couple of different coaches, and I looked at what certifications they had, and I went and got my IPAC, which is the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching.
Yes.
So I got that certification, and then there's core energy coaching within that, so I got that, and then the core leadership coaching, whatever certificate. Cool. So
because there are no standards for coaches.
No,
which is quite astonishing, I think, because I did the same. Like, I was a coach, as is, no certifications, but then I took the classes just to make sure.
Right.
Do I know what I'm talking about? Thankfully I did.
Right.
But yeah, you don't have to do anything. You just go out there and be a coach.
Right.
Which is why it's so careful. Be careful.
Right.
Who you're picking.
Yeah.
Out of the bunch.
And there's also, like, there's so many different things. Like, somebody said to me, oh, well, there's this test that you can be taking to analyze people, and there's this test you can take to analyze people. So there's lots of different things that you could do, but at the end of the day, too, is, does the person that you are working with, do you have a good rapport with them? And I mean, and I and that's where, like, the leadership coaching is, like, I love helping leaders, because if I could wave the magic wand and we could make all these people, instead of all these people running from companies, having them go run to them because they want to be there. And think about, think of the trickle-down effect, right? So the trickle-down effect is, I walk into a company and I'm pissed off because my asshole boss is whatever, being a jerk, whatever, and then I go outside and I go get my cup of coffee, and I'm like, I'm an ass to the barista, or I'm at the grocery store and the person's ringing up my groceries and I'm just grumpy, right? And your attitude and that energy spreads. It's either good or bad.
Domino.
Right. So that's where I could think, oh, how great would it be if the domino effect could be all positive shit? And, like, how much happier would we all be in the world?
So much happier.
Right?
So much happier.
Yes. I mean, it's like, the other day I went into the supermarket, and on my way out, I just was chatting it up with the woman who's at the cashier, and lovely conversation, and it was just, like, so nice.
Yeah.
Right? Like, super nice. And it's like, oh my God, yay, somebody who's, like, friendly and talking. I got into my car and I'm like, oh God, that was so cool. Like,
yes. Yeah, people would just talk to each other.
Right. Conversation.
Just have a conversation. People are much more happier. You're not afraid of each other. So many people are afraid of each other.
Right. We don't bite. Yeah. Well, at least I don't.
Yeah, no, me neither. Yeah, especially cashiers, and then they light up because so few have had that conversation with them.
Right.
I think I did a video about this like a week or so ago. Like, just challenge yourself. 3 people, 5 people in the day. Like, say hello. Just say hello even and see what happens.
So one of the things that I do is I have it in, as, like, one of my core values is that I will not go up to a drive. I will not drive through a drive-through.
Oh, okay.
I do not go through drive-throughs.
You don't do drive-throughs.
I do not do drive-throughs because I want to go in and talk to the people.
Fact for us. Huh.
I want to go in and say hi. Yeah. I want to say hello. How are you? Are you having a good day? Like, I want to see them. I don't want the glass.
I love this.
Right? Go in, say hi. Yes. Like, be present.
Be present. That's a good good trick right there.
Right. It's amazing who you will meet.
Yes,
and
this is true.
You could be standing in line, and and you could, maybe you overhear a conversation and you could be like, oh, hey, I could help you with that, or something, whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, many times. That's why I love sitting in coffee shops, because I can hear, or even bars, you hear all these conversations, and you're allowed to just
interject.
Just kind of sneak in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. You could say, I'm sorry, I just overheard your conversation.
Overheard.
Right.
Yeah, what was that about? Right. Yes, where do you work? What are you doing? Yes. And I can help with that. Yeah.
So talk to people.
Talk to people. Yeah.
So, imagine that.
Gee, yeah.
So when we first moved here, again, I knew absolutely nobody. And I would go into Whole Foods or, Whole Paycheck, or depending on what you want to call it, right?
Yes.
Right. And I would be, I don't buy any eggs anymore because I have chickens, but we were standing, and this was in 2018, and so we were standing at the Whole Foods, egg case. And I remember thinking, wow, there's a lot more egg choices here than there are in Massachusetts.
Yep.
And I struck up a conversation. And so by doing that, my kids would see that happen. Yeah. And one of the proud parent moments was standing at the deli counter. Not the fact that I was buying deli meat, because I think that's horrible, but standing at the deli counter, and my daughter turns to the woman who's got a cart kind of came in between us, and she starts a conversation. I was like, score!
Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. This is my macaroni salad story. Same thing. I was at a deli counter. I sold a house because I had a conversation about macaroni salad at the deli counter. Because the person in front of me, she turned around and started talking to me because there was a line.
Yeah.
And we were talking about salads, and suddenly she was just moving here, or where I was at the time in Vegas. And I'm a real estate agent. Oh, okay. And exchanged things and followed through. Post offices, same thing, dropping off mail. People ask, 'cause as real estate people, you're always putting mail in, tons of mail.
Yeah.
And someone stopped me and was like, "You got a lot of friends." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a real estate agent." And he's like, "I'm looking for a place to rent." And I found him that place to rent, and then I found him a place to buy. And then
that's awesome.
He sent me his friends. So same
thing.
Vein.
Right.
You just never know from those strange encounters about random stuff.
Right.
You never know.
No.
And I just love that you started, East Coast, first of all.
Right.
So, that's why we get along.
Yeah, we had
East Coast. Yeah. But New York, publishing, and that was what, 90s? In the 90s?
The 90s.
Which I'm not dating anyone, but
1990s. And
I'm jealous of that, because I wish I could have done that in the 90s.
You know what the funniest thing is?
I'm obsessed with that era.
Okay, so so I'm going to so my son said to me the other day, he goes, we were listening to some music, and I don't even know how it came up. And he said, I just wish, I know. Oh my God, we were talking about sock hops, right? And he's like, well, and that whole era of, the drive up and have your,
the drive-through?
Not the drive-through, but where they had the people on the roller skates, or people walking to the cars, whatever, and all that stuff, and
milkshake on the windshield,
and the windshield, and we were talking about sock hops, or their dances and things, just people would, and he goes, I wish I lived in that time, and he said, because he's truly an old soul, and so he was talking about that, and that's why it's
exactly.
you just said being in the 90s. He goes, how cool would it be? I wish I was in high school in the 90s, or or just in college in the 90s. And I said, very different time.
It's true. Yes. And I'm, probably 80s is more Murder, She Wrote.
Right. Yes, I love
Moonlighting. I still watch them, and I'm like, shoulder pads and the executive offices and the ugly furniture. And I would
and the big hair.
That,
right.
And the big hair. I would love that all. That's
but those TV shows were, they were.
It wasn't really like that.
No.
Oh no.
But it was no, but it was like, but you think about it, they were so much more, for lack of a better word, wholesome.
Well,
and,
yeah.
And you didn't have, I don't know, you just.
This is true. Those shows now do not convey what was really happening and the misogyny and God knows what else.
Right.
So yeah, there was a whole other toxic level there.
Right.
And we forget that they were all smoking in those buildings too. So that's another thing. Like we cannot imagine that today.
Oh my God. I remember one of the companies that I worked for, we actually worked at you know, the Park Avenue building. It used to be the MetLife building. I don't know what it is, right? You know, with the cars run through. Yep. And there's somebody smoked, and I would be sitting in the office. I'm like, it smells like smoke in this office, and I'd be sitting there like coughing because I don't do well with smoke. I just remember making some big to-do about it. I'm like, I think I have to find a new job because I couldn't handle the smell in the office.
Yeah, I love talking to younger people now about that. Like, they can't stand it, like, just passing.
Yeah.
I'm like, we used to be like in an enclosed house and an office,
right, with all the smoke,
and all the people just smoked incessantly. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
It killed us.
Right. Horrible. Right.
That's why we end up with all this shit.
Right.
So publishing, went to coaching, missing link network. Like, where did that come from?
So Missing Link Network actually,
which we've talked about it much. Yeah. So I remember, and it's amazing.
Missing Link Network actually came out of like I was working with my co-founder, and he was part of a networking group, and he said, how great would it be if there was I was actually with another networking company just as a member, and I was lamenting on how I was just done with it, and and so he had he was with that group, and he was like, well, what if we made it, he had the idea of turning it into more of an affiliate type of a program, and I said, yeah, but we have to expand a little bit, and I said, and here's the idea that I have about, back in Boston, there was a company a group that I went to, and we broke out into groups, so we kind of ended up working together to combine those two. So he was already part of something, and we just kind of melded the ideas together. And networking is something that is so, it is how I grew businesses and how I found it easily to switch companies during that job hop time.
Yeah.
Right?
So you know.
Right. It was all, a lot of it was networking. It was a conversation I had. You know, I think about, it was networking when I was with a girl who I was really good friends with in New York City, and I was talking to her, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go stay in magazine publishing. You know, there's only a few magazine publishers. I could do different things. I don't have to just be in publishing. I mean, my skills are transferable. And she's like, oh, you should go get a job at the radio station. I'm like, all right. I go get a job at the radio station. Right. So, but I went and I did. Yeah. Like I went and I interviewed, and I said, it was like, I know so and so, and she's, and I said I've worked with them, and so it's, you know, not that it was like dropping a name, but it is dropping a name because they knew her, so it created that immediate trust. Yeah. Right.
It's all relationship based. That's where we are.
Yeah.
And I kind of laughed at the beginning because I was thinking, I saw a piece on the news just days ago talking about AI taking over jobs. And they were like, and a study shows that you can more easily get a job if you have a relationship with the people. And I'm like, yeah.
Right.
And that's like, now that's a like not obvious thing to say, apparently. Like you get out there and actually make the relationship.
You have to make a relationship.
Make the connection, right? Yeah.
And, you know, and I think about, you know, if you're going to meet somebody, so networking it's something that's been ingrained in my brain, in my brain and what I do, and I never even thought about it. But it's, you know, I tell the story about when we used to ski up at Loon Mountain in New Hampshire all the time, and my parents had a condo there, and when we started going there when my daughter was 2 and my son was whatever, you know, 1 or less than 1, and we ended up renting a condo with a couple of with another family, and that led to, putting our kids in ski school. And I literally will never forget this. So the mountain is two different sides. We're sitting at what's called South Peak in what is I always called as the Uber yurt, because it was not a real building. It was, it was framed, but it had tent, whatever. But massive building. They had a kitchen and whatever. Anyway, so we're sitting in there and completely packed. And I sit down. I literally see this couple sitting at a table, and they're sitting on one side. I'm like, hey, can I share your table with you? Because there's no place to sit. And they said, sure, sit down. Well, turns out their kid happened to be in ski school, and we started talking, and then some of my other friends came in, and I introduced them to this. And next thing I know, we've got this little group going on. And then that group, it became a group. And then that became a bigger group. And then it became a community. And, when we left, they were like, you have to look and see what you built. Right? It was it was this amazing group of people, and we still stay together. Right. Our kids have changed, and not everybody's going up there. But during that time when our kids were all together and we were in that mode together, man, we were a force on the mountain. People knew us. But in a good way, because if I met somebody, I'm like, oh, come on and join in. Come on and join in.
Awesome group. Yes.
Come on and join in. And I remember, you have those moments of I remember this one couple, and I call them the it couple. She is they're great skiers, and they always to me look like they were beautiful people. And I was like, ooh, can I talk to them? Ooh. And but I did. It took a little bit of courage. I feel like in we bought a zoo. You have 3 seconds or 2 seconds, whatever it was. But but they became friends, and brought them into the fold, so they got to know people. I mean, they're just people. And they you can find out if they're assholes or not assholes. And if they're assholes, you don't bring them in.
It's a pretty quick process.
Right.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
So it just was amazing. And one of my friends said to me, she's when I told her about Missing Link, she's like, I totally see that, because that's what you do. That's what, and you did that. You connect people.
Yeah.
And I'm, and a lot of us do that naturally. I'm always that person who you tell me about your business, and I don't necessarily just start thinking, I'm not like, oh, okay, that's nice. I'm like, ooh, let me see, who do I know? Right. I want to figure out a way that I can make a connection. It just, maybe it's annoying for some people, because I want to make.
I think it's a very welcome.
I
welcome it.
What can I do? Who can I connect you with? Let me look at my go and I always mean it. Go to my LinkedIn profile. Who's the kind of person that you want to meet? Who's the person that I can connect you with? I just do. Yep.
Briefly, for our listeners and watchers, describe what the Missing Link Network is, or what it does.
So Missing Link Network takes a mastermind approach to networking. We are a overall community of links. So everybody that's in the Missing Link Network is a link, and they are linked together. But there are individual hubs, and with those hubs, we meet weekly, and we do mastermind with topics that we've come up with, but mastermind about business. So about business, we connect and learn. There's 3 key pillars: people, profit, and progress, so that we're really getting to know people on a deeper level. We're getting to know about their business on a deeper level, and we're bringing people in. The progress portion is bringing people into the hub that we need to connect with, and who are those connections that we need to make.
Love it. I've been a member for December or so.
Right, something.
Couple months, yeah. But I super love it, much better than other networking. It's just unique, and it is more of a one-on-one with each other. You get to know your hub, you get to know your people, and I think that's much needed in business. More of a personal connection, understanding of people. So
and I think so where a lot of it came from, where the different ideas of topics came in, is that I was in a networking event, and I remember standing there thinking, how on earth can we connect people better, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can bring people together and talk about certain things, you know, how do you expand the know, like, and trust?
Yeah.
So that while you're spending time together in that hour, you're making it a useful hour. You're not just pontificating on what you need or, you know, yes, we celebrate wins, we introduce ourselves, but we break out and talk about things that will really help me know you better, you personally. So, and the one thing I always want to remind everybody too about in networking is that, you know, we are one profession per hub, but we connect people, all the links together because, you know, Zach is awesome, but I might be like, okay, you know what, I've got somebody who might need branding. I know two people. Let me connect both of you because I don't know I know personality, but I want to be able to say, okay, these are two people. Here's why I think they're both great. They're awesome. But, you know, you need to interview them. Who's going to fit
best.
And it's not like, oh, I only have this one person. But you want to be able to, and that's why I love linking people together, because the other thing too is I always remind people, you and somebody else may have the exact same profession, do the exact same thing, but you also might be able to help and support each other.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like two mortgage people. Like,
exactly.
Like I might be able to, I might not be able to get a mortgage with Susie, and Susie might say, oh, but Sally over here works with a different company. She may have a program that I can't offer you.
Exactly.
And you know, so.
That's why there's a gazillion of each profession in this world, and we shouldn't be afraid to open ourselves up, because it's a personal fit. And the people that I might, if they pick that other person over me, I might not have clicked well with the person who is looking. And coaching it's unique because, I mean, I've come from a world, I just said this on the last podcast, I come from a world of realtors. There are 20,000 in Vegas. There's like 6,000 or 7,000 here in Reno. And that's what I coach on. It's like you're in a pool of people doing very similar things, differently, but similar things. Yes. And coaching, though, like, you don't meet a coach every day.
No.
But since being in these networking circles, I have met several, and a couple that do literally exactly as I do, but I can easily see, like, their clients are not my clients. Like, and I'm fine with that.
Right, and you're fine with that. You know, and what you just said, I think, is really important, because somebody said this once, and I was it was something that everybody needs to know. So there was a person who was a realtor, and they was asking, well, like, who do you like to work with? What do you feel differentiates you? And the comment was, we're all the same.
I heard that somewhere too. Actually, I asked a question of someone like that. And, and it was the same. It was, well, we do the same thing. Like,
no. And so that is the one thing that, you know, you need to really think about. How do you want to differentiate yourself? Like, what is your, you know, what's your brand? Work with Zach on your brand, you know, that personal brand, and how do you want to be known? And that's really important, because you, at the end of the day, yes, does a realtor do the exact same thing? Yes, they all sell houses.
Yep. And
they all
might
help buyers
the same contract.
Right.
Same stuff. However, somehow
they're very different.
They're very different.
Right. Yeah. You know, they're going to either help you buy a house, they're going to either help you sell a house. Like, what is it that they are doing? And so, but everybody's different. Everybody's, you know, if everybody was the same, we would be a really boring society.
What a horrible place that would be.
Yeah. I think there's a movie about that, right?
I think so, yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which brings me to you writing a book. You just do all this stuff.
So writing the book is actually really funny.
But that ties into so much, yes.
It was actually really funny. So so originally where the book came from is I was on a podcast. And the gentleman who I wrote the book with, his name is Damien Andrews. He is in Australia. So I got up, as they say in Boston, wicked early to be on this podcast. And we just had this great connection, and we talked afterwards, and we were actually going to try to start something that was more, in some ways, a hub for executives and CEOs to kind of connect and collaborate with. And we were trying to do it on LinkedIn and blah, and it was, it was hard. It's hard to use somebody else's platform to build something and without spending hundreds of dollars, whatever, to promote it. And we kept talking about all the things that we wanted to bring out, and we said, let's write a book, but not a regular book. So the book, Charting True North, it's not a regular book. It's a workbook. And so we talk in here of being authentic. We talk about, personal challenges, external challenges. The authentic way. The authentic way. And we talk about, and we have exercises in here that, authentic leadership, emotional intelligence mapping exercise. So it's a workbook to help you be a better leader. And here's the thing. I don't care whether you lead a team or you're just you as the entrepreneur. Let me just remind you, you are the CEO of you, so you have to lead yourself. So it is a great workbook. And we have, now what I loved about doing this is that I hate journaling. Like I'm not, because I'm
the perfect person to write this then.
So that was like one of the things. So we have a whole thing of prompts. So there's prompts for you to journal. So peak moment. Can you recall, a moment when you felt more aligned with your vision as a leader? What contributed to that feeling? So you can use these prompts to really journal. You can go back and forth with them. And so, and again, they're blank pages, so you actually can write. Now, we should have probably sent it with a pen or a pencil. But
you can find one.
You can go find one. But the other thing that we put in this, which is 30 days of authentic leadership, which is, it's a daily, daily actions that you have. So, what leadership situation made you pause today? And it really does make you think. And I use this, at the end of the day, like when I've, it really helps me stay with a clear head. And when I don't do it, it's amazing what happens because then I get, then it's like, it gets all jumbled.
Just journaling in general. Right. So this is even better since it's like focusing you on specifics that you might even not even think about. Right. So love that. Did the book come first before your podcast or the podcast?
So which
was birthed first?
So the book, we started writing the book in January of 2024. So the contents of the book came first of what we were doing. And then the podcast. And my podcast was called Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight, and I have now changed the name to Unstoppable Success because you have to be a great leader within yourself, and there's unstoppable for that success. So, so technically the book came first, then the podcast.
You've been ripping out podcast episodes like a mad person, and doing way better than I have. Yes.
Well, yes and no. I mean, we haven't. I put them out, but I need to promote them a lot more. So
there's some marketing.
Yeah, the marketing, right? The marketing
element
of that. And that's actually really kind of funny. I had hired somebody to do that right from the get-go, and they overpromised and never delivered.
Never delivered. Okay.
Never delivered.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so it's taken me a bit to catch up, and now we're actually, I have enough episodes to get me through the end of the year.
You do weekly?
I do weekly. We do weekly. I have episodes that I haven't even put out yet. That are in queue to be published.
Amazing.
So I think this week I may have only done one. I usually do 2 a week, but I'm planning it out so that there will always be one a week till the end of the year. And then, and so I'm not going to bring on, I think August, maybe there's a couple in September, but I won't be interviewing anybody else until January. Like everybody new will all be in January, so that we can get caught up, reuse content, re-promote. I've had, and I'm really looking at having some really key people being on the podcast. So, three of my favorite. I've had a lot of great guests.
I was about to ask, but I was wondering if that was.
Which
was your favorite? Yeah.
Well, so there was one was a surprise. This one guy, Jim Fielding, he is just a remarkable human. He started off at the Gap, and he ended up one of his last positions was president of Disney Retail.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like really cool. Like what his trajectory was freaking awesome. Like
so
oh my God, we could have talked for hours and hours.
Awesome.
Bob Berg, he wrote the Go Giver series.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So
I love
Bob
that series.
Bob Berg was a guest.
So cool. Oh, that's so cool.
So he was a guest. So his episode is out. He wrote another book with a gentleman whose name is Jeff C. West, and I say C because if you look up Jeff West, I think it's either a murderer or a serial killer. Jeff told me that. So something like that. So
safe to say.
Make sure that you put the initial.
C,
But he wrote a book. Bob Berg and Jeff West wrote a book called Streetwise to Saleswise, which is a really great book. So Jeff was on my podcast, and then I most recently had, and their episode went out I think last week or the week before. Marnie Stockman and Nick Coniglio, they worked together and they formed a company, but they wrote a book called Lead It Like Lasso.
Yes.
And I'm still reading the book. It's been taking me a little bit longer to read.
It's on my wish list.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was great to have them on. So those 4 episodes were just truly memorable because they just gave just amazing tips, and it was really, I mean, I've had some great guests, and it's really cool to see what they've done and where they've gone and where they've taken their businesses and things that they've done for other people. So I loved interviewing people. It's fun.
I love it.
Right?
Yes. Oh yeah. I've always been doing this, so I love it. If you could tell your younger self some advice, what would that be?
The thing I would tell my younger self is make sure you have your vision for where you want to go and you make a plan and make sure that you look at it every year. And make sure that you invest at a young age.
Yes. Yes, please. That's a good one.
And I have 2 kids, and I think that's like the biggest thing that I wish, because when I think about when I graduated college and I first got into magazine publishing, I had this thing that I wanted to. I thought about where I wanted to go, and I stopped. I stopped thinking about it. Yeah. And I let everybody else's. I stopped thinking about what I wanted. And all of a sudden, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years down the road, I'm like, oh, I didn't go get that MBA. Oh, why didn't I do that? Oh, I got caught up in the career position versus what I wanted.
Oh, hell yeah. I hear that.
Right. And so we're just have an idea of what you want to, where you want to go. And I do say, like, right from the get-go, like, find a coach, not just a mentor, but find a coach.
Yeah. Reach out to that team, build those resources for sure. That's so important. So very important. And wherever you start, that knee-jerk passion that you're like, oh, this is who I am and that's what I want to do. Don't disregard that. Like, you're probably right, even though everyone around you says, oh, no, that might not be what you want to do. Yeah. Because 13 years later or 20 years later, you'll come back around and be like, oh, that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
I still want to do that.
Right. Yeah. And if it's something that drives you, and you're passionate about it, you'll find a way to.
Find a way.
You will find a way.
Yeah.
But you need the people around you that support you. And you always have to remember the people that are going to be your biggest champions are not always your family, most likely not.
Right.
And so you need to find the people outside of that who are outside, who have no direct impact on your financial success or not success, who can be there and be a champion for you that way.
Love that. Love that. You are quite fabulous.
Thank you. So are you.
So much. I'm so happy you came and shared
I'm so happy you asked.
yourself and all of these amazing things. Where, and I know the list is long after this, but where can we find all of these amazing things and find you online?
Where you can go is leaptoyoursuccess.com. That's awesome. The best place to go. You can also find me if my name is not easy to spell, but it's Jaclyn, like Jaclyn Smith. And if you don't know who Jaclyn Smith is, go watch Charlie's Angels from the 70s. But it's Jaclyn, Jaclyn, and then Strominger, Strominger. You can also go to jaclynstrominger.com or find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. All of those great social places, you can find me and connect.
Awesome. Go find her. Go buy the book with the penguin on the cover.
Charting True North.
I love penguins. Got a thing for penguins. It was a good choice.
Yeah, I love penguins too. And I don't know if you guys you have to understand that our little logo guy is a monkey.
Oh, I didn't see that. I love the little monkey. I love penguins and monkeys. Oh my God, I love you more. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Zach.
Tune in next time to see who joins me in another corner, and where that corner might be.